$5 cheesecake. You must really want it, because you just bought it, didn't you? The Starbucks that morning, the AirPods you bought to be cool, and that expensive water bought didn't just seem like much. Did it not? Sure. The Starbucks was only $6 for that French vanilla latte, 3 hazelnut, 3 vanilla, and 12 Splenda. Though that $6 adds up when you buy it every day. AirPods are $150, and you spent it because you had the spending money for it. Though that spending money isn't spending money. It's for your car payment, your school funds, and your house payment. Now look, you're $100 in debt. Today I would like to discuss some ways to avoid bad debt by budgeting expenses, creating an emergency fund, and steering clear of credit cards. So, $100 in debt. How'd you get there? Chances are you spent your money impulsively. So what do you do to get out of that situation? Budgeting the money. When you budget your money, you're putting yourself into a position where you have limits and priorities while spending your funds, thus having more control and better intentions of your finances. There's many ways you can budget your money. Only you know what's best for yourself. There are methods like the 50-20-30 budget. 50% goes towards your after-tax needs, 30% goes towards your wants, and 20% goes on savings or debts that need to be paid off. Or a zero-based budget. All a zero-based budget is when you make every last dollar useful. Say you have a zero-based budget of around $500 and you have a fridge repair for $200. Well, you still have $300 left over. What do you do with the leftover? You spend it. But you spend it on the things that you actually need for. So say you need shopping, well, spend it towards your shopping. And you do it until you have $0 left. When you are using this type of money in this budget, you should have an exact plan of where each penny is being put to. A zero-based budget doesn't mean you have $0 left in your bank account. This only means your income minus all your expenses equals 0. This can be a good or bad thing depending on the person. Budgeting isn't for everyone, but it is most definitely recommended when getting out of or avoiding debt. As we become older and develop bills and expenses, surprises from accidents also come into play. We all expect to have our regular bills at the end of the month with the same car bill, house bill, water, and electricity bill. But what if there's one thing you didn't know about? In the duration of 31 days, you should expect to have a surprise expense. These can vary from being as big as a hospital bill or even a house repair to the simplest of fixing a broken phone. The process of creating an emergency fund may not be able to be made in with a few days, but instead can take up to weeks or a couple of months to accomplish. You begin with creating a savings account separate from your savings account. Therefore, no contact will be made with your emergency cash. The biggest mistakes folks make is pairing up the spending money up with their emergency funds, essentially not having one at all. This results in spending it on a purpose or without realization. After creating a separate account, putting your spare money towards it will be your next goal. Over time, you will notice that you have more and more money collected. It is recommended to have $500 as your starting account with your money. But you can also it's also recommended just to keep adding and adding and adding. $500 is not enough to continue on with any emergency because a hospital bill isn't going to be $500. So it's like more towards your income, have about that much. And hospital bills aren't that much, so you need that. CEOs of important franchises and owners of important businesses have shared their experience and said that there's no harm in having huge amounts of money saved. Credit cards are the creator of debt. In fact, they are used by the same people who are engulfed in the debt and need to buy something they believe they can be paid off by the end of the month. Essentially, credit cards consist of imaginary money, meaning that there was indeed no money to be being spent at the moment. The money that was spent comes in towards the end of the month when you get your bill of the items you have purchased. And not to mention, it comes along with interest. Interest being the twist of the purchase, where additional money is added to your bill for the small loan. For example, a drink that it was worth $5 is now 40 cents more. Typically, the average credit card user will not use credit cards for their true intentions. In contrast, they are being used for random items instead of being used for emergency situations, creating a buy now, pay later attitude. Money is a tricky item to play with and should only be dealt with when you have good knowledge of what you're doing. When used incorrectly in situations like debt, it will make you deeper into a pit of owing continuous amounts of money. But all bad things come to a good, and accomplishments of having good credit will allow you to buy houses or new cars. Other examples such as having savings account or when you're older and uses of money. As long as you pay close attention to your expenses and limit yourself to what's a need and not a want, money should be of no worry.